people. Today is Monday. Another week has started. Well, it started since yesterday. And time and tide waits for no one. So let me get this started right as I wait for my peeps to get in the We Talk D Ting. So people, it seems that it has started. The interference of the live. But we don't make that a problem. We just hold on until that's how loyal my peeps are to listening and hearing the truth. We don't be on no games here. Yeah, so when they interfere with it and it go down, all the weight be coming back up because it's truth. They can't interfere with the truth. This is the year the Jubilee. This is the year celebration, this is the year of all the wickedness and all the things that you're doing here right. If you was sowing and reaping wickedness and evenness, your harvest will be that this year. Yeah? And if you all realize that this is the season where all the major religious groups are having their religious observances. We have the Hindus, I think they had Pagwa and the celebration observances that goes with that. We have the Catholic community, the Christian community, they're in the month of Lent leading up to Easter, the resurrection of Christ, what they say, they call that period there Easter. And we also have the Muslim community who are fasting the month of Ramadan that will lead up to Eid al-Fitr. I think that's how it's pronounced. So we are in a time of fasting and prayer. And when you fast and pray, it's to cleanse and to clean, to come with new, to be reborn again in new, to get rid of the old and whatever baggages, negative baggages that you have, spiritually, of course, and probably eating habits, things that you do is a renewal time. So it's interesting times ahead. I also understand that all the planets are aligned. I have to look into that, and we would not see that happening again for many years. So it's a lot of interesting things happening this year, 2025. So let me start eating right. And we do live in a very blessed country, Trinidad and Tobago, where every creed and race find the anthem is find, not finds. So every creed and race find an equal place. And I wish every time the anthem is played at any celebration or whatever it is, that if even though there are people singing it at the steel pan, be a part of the accompaniment within the anthem. Because if it is going to be on our coat of arms, and that is a part of our emblems of us being a republic and an independent state, and our steel pan is now the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago. I think it's only fitting if we play any national song that don't matter what choir or who fancy sing it and whatever, it just sound nice. But there must be, this is me, the steel pan, a part of the ensemble, the musical part of it to accompany the singer or the singers, the choir, whatever it is. That's just me. So hi, Carolyn. Hi, reality check. Yes, a day to rejoice. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Donna. Hi, Christopher. And hi, Roxanne, Sarah, and all those who are locked on. I see debunking UNC lies with facts. Is here with me. Thank you for coming and keep my company. I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I'll honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds, and I'll strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. Hi, Donna. So if you all see, I have on my pin, it's now Prime Minister Stuart Richard Young SC. He was sworn in today. And yesterday was the PNM convention, and then after that, it had the 41 candidates being not revealed, but you know what, presented to the national community and also to all the supporters and they who came down. I want to tell Attorney at Law Kareem Marcel, watchmen, he come out. Them young people come out from Beatum, Laventel, and the virus because I think if I just always mix up East and West, I think it's Laventel. The bunk can tell me which constituency that Attorney Kareem Marcel is going up for. There's a reason why I keep when I speak about him, I say attorney at law Kareem Marcel because I know the ridicule that he went through when he passed the bar. So I won't say Kareem Marcel, I'll always say attorney at law. But again, I'm saying, Mr. Attorney, hello, you bring it. You carry it, in fact, you carry it. You carry it yesterday. And all the other candidates and their supporters, listen, it was nice, it was nice, it was nice. It was a love, it was a joy. It was, let me tell you, it was vibrancy and energy. And I know that may have gotten Kamla Prasad Bissessa sick because she don't like to see the color red. Although the color red is featured very prominently in the Hindu community and within in Hinduism. So she had to deal with that. And I want to say special shout out to Senator Renuka. I don't say the rest of the word to me, she's just Senator Renuka. Listen, you told me to go and check out your tent and that, but Senator, let me tell you, it had too much people. I couldn't push through them people to show nothing. It was too much people. So Senator Renuka and your team and your constituents, big up, and the member of parliament, those ladies from Tobago, can't leave out them sisters, Minister Yana Repsa-Roy and Minister Shamfa Kocho. They would have all, Shamfa Kocho Lewis. Let me put her under to her name, please. They would have retained their positions because today was also the reshuffling of the parliament or the cabinet or the ministers that who hold ministerial portfolios because as Minister Young is not the prime minister, he would want things the way that he think it will be best to be more effective and more efficient. So we had that today also with that. So I just want to shout out those ladies and a special shout out to a lady. I will come to she soon. I'll leave she for last. But again, I continue to say the UNC could never match the People's National Movement. The ladies of the UNC in the cabinet or senate or what could never match on no day the quality and caliber and competency of the PNM woman. Mrs. Camille, Mrs. Penelope Beckers also shout out to you, a lady with a quiet, very quiet, dignified way about her. Shout out to you. Today ain't ready for that crew. You see that crew right now called ain't ready, but we'll get to that just now. So yesterday, Dr. Rowley would have officially resigned as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. So there are some persons who would have give him his sugar, they give him his flowers. And I'm going to just read some of the things that was, yes, if you see Minister Health, tell me what you're drinking and eating a papa to be putting down that piece of bacchanal on, listen, me now, hey, Miss Sharon Felix, wait is only eating up there, she come now with she big flag and blocking my whole life, I can't see, me don't know she next to me for here, me go only move with that time, I want to hear move, when I turn and see she a ball out, I say, only could show off, so the St. Joseph come down, they come down and the minister get on. When I tell you get on it, our next one come jump high me and drop back down, bam. Oh, then I see Minister M, but start to twirl the stick. I say, what is going on here, boy? Like, what them drink? What they drink? I know it ain't no Grey Goose. But it was nice, it was nice. Mr. Hans, the Vince, he bring it, you know. He work in the media world for a while. So you know to bring, I don't know if it's how he come out and talk that give Minister Terence sing that energy, but Papa, get on for so. That get on. Well, I old enough to take a little dance on Heath Carnival. They ain't gonna tell me nothing. Just like the girl was old enough when she pushed up herself and Dr. Oli. But that's another thing. We ain't going there for no. Oh, we go leave that alone. So this is the president of Pan Trinbago. I'm Sharon Benjamin Niles, and this is her flowers she's given to Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, March 17. It says, Pan Trinbago President thanks Rowley, Dr. Rowley, for legacy of work with steel pan. Pan Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore has wished Dr. Rowley a happy retirement, thanking him for the work he has done for the steel pan fraternity, which included the official designation of the steel pan as a national musical instrument, the change of the coat of arms, and the proposal to build a new Pan Trinbago headquarters on Ryson Road. She also thanked Dr. Rowley for the substantial financial support for Panorama, covering prices, appearances, fees, transport assistance, and aids to bands, which they said advanced the cultural legacy. As for the creation of the headquarters, Ramsey Moore feels it will stand as a tribute to the resilience and global significance of the steel pan, solidifying its place as the heartbeat of our nation's cultural identity. As you close this chapter of public life, we thank you for your unwavering dedication, foresight, and historical contributions to the advancement of the steel pan movement. Your legacy will forever be a guiding force in the continued evolution of our national instrument. We wish you a fulfilling and rewarding retirement filled with joy, reflection, and the satisfaction of a legacy well secured, Ramsey Moore said. We also had Miss Helen Drayton. I think she's an independent senator, if I'm not mistaken. She too would have had her flowers to give to Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. So it says here, this was in the Guardian yesterday, the 16th. The Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, Helen Drayton. You can't take detractors seriously. Mischief makers. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has stood on both sides of the political divide, self-assured, tenacious, unhesitantly blunt in responses to political opponents, career detractors, and critics, and he couldn't give a Tobago figure about political consequences. Hi, Florence. Hi, Joyce. He has taken vicious blows and given back in equal measure without missing a steel pan beat. Candid and resolute when it comes to the country's sovereignty and neutrality, there is no mistaking his position on anything. As Guyana President Ifran Ali said in a tribute to him at the Barbados CARICOM conference, don't be carried away by the hard views. They were all geared towards the best interest of the region and to give us the best possible result. President Ali inferred that substance is what mattered, not form. Regional leaders understood him well. His love for the region has driven him to excel, said Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley regarding his contribution in 2019 when CARICOM leaders confronted the Venezuelan Maduro-Guaido crisis. Putting principles before acquaintances on foreign geological agenda, they opt to mediate for a peaceful solution. If ever there was a person that you would want at your side to fight a battle, Keith Rowley is one such person, Muttley said. He's a statesman committed to member states and their aspiration. The Rock of Caribbean and a dependable anchor, according to Bahamas PM Philip Davis, who lauded his guidance to CARICOM in responding to regional climate change and the Venezuela-Guyana border dispute. In 2020, as CARICOM chair, he reached out to President Ifram Ali during Guyana's election crisis. His contributions was enormous. At a time of great tension for the rule of law and respect for election rules, he made his way to Guyana. The rest is history. Commenting on his ability to nurture relationships, Jamaica PM Andrew Holness said he met with PM Rowley when TNT and Jamaica relations were at an all-time low, resulting from a remark in 2010 by his predecessor that TNT is not an ATM card. There were threats of boycotts and blocking citizens' movement. Today, the trade and movement of citizens between the two countries is better. I think the region is better. He is the epitome of the Caribbean man. Dr. Keith Rowley served our country from 1981 to 2025, leading the PNM to victory in two consecutive elections, 2015 and 2020. He has the distinction of winning his seats in the House of Representatives 9 times and held the position of Minister of Agriculture, Planning and Development, Housing and Trade and Industry, and was leader of the opposition from 2010 to 15. He was also the representative governor of TNT for the Inter-American Development Bank and the Caribbean Development Bank. With his predecessor in cabinet, he contributed to the development of critical social and economic architecture involving housing for thousands of citizens, the infrastructure of roads, highways, ports, and the energy sector over his 44 years of service. The Prime Minister leaves office at a pivotal time when post-World War II ideologies and strategies are shifting under the weight of wars, geopolitical, economic, social, technological, and environmental pressures. Any objective assessment of his government's manifesto promises will reveal gaps between plans and actual achievements, especially as these relate to the high crime rate, problems in education, utilities, port inefficiency, public sector inefficiency, and the dangers inherent in underdeveloped communities like SEALATs. All those substantial investments have gone into social infrastructure and human development. Among the significant achievements were the sources of 2 streams of natural gas for Point Lisas and LNG Point 14, and successfully negotiating contracts for access to Venezuela Dragon field gas. Also holding productive talks in Washington to escape sanctions and acquire licenses. The agreements for the exploration and production of natural gas by BP and the state-owned National Gas Company to develop the Venezuelan side of Coquina Maniquin field and for Shell to progress the Manatee Lauren field were commendable achievements. Still, these crucial projects hang in the balance depending on continued U.S. support for exemptions from sanctions against Venezuela. Petrotrin, a virtual ward of the Treasury, was reconstructed to stem taxpayers' losses. The company revenues couldn't sustain its increase in operational costs and high debt servicing burden. The government carved out 2 new profitable entities, Heritage Petroleum and Paria. 6 years after the decision to close Petrotrin, a buyer with access to crude supply is ready to reopen the refinery. It has been 10 years of navigating the country's business and financial affairs in a hostile global environment. The Ukraine war generated supply chain disruption and economic turbulence. We had to rally through a perfect storm of plummeting gas prices, falling production, and the COVID-19 crisis. No template existed for the management of the pandemic, the last one having occurred 100 years before. The Prime Minister led decisively, following the science of the World Health Organization, WHO, and got vaccines. Tough decisions were made to save lives with inevitable consequences for the economy and education. Government shut down borders, closed schools, curtailed business activity, ran a parallel healthcare system, and minimized financial hardship for the most vulnerable. The country remained stable in the face of daunting shocks and homegrown crime. Its resilience was remarkable. According to the IMF report of May 2024, TNT is on a trajectory of economic recovery for the first time in a decade. GDP expanded, and that is gross domestic product. That is what we sell in the country, and the profits made by that. Expanded with a strong performance in the non-energy sector, inflation below 2%, growth in banks' credit, and a strong financial system. The usual indicators of a country performance, including public expenditure and debt ratio, international reserve coverage, and current account surplus, appear reasonably sound. The GDP per capita remains the highest amongst many small and medium-sized countries. The unemployment rate is below 5%. Scarce foreign exchange remains a thorny issue, and economic diversification requires productive strategies. Hospitals were built in Point Fortin, Arima, Sandy Grande, Port of Spain, and Tobago. The new Tobago airport is in completion. The Miaro Road, the Mondesi Interchange, the Archibald de Leon Highway, the Miaro Guayacari Bridge, Guayagawari Bridge, and the Diego Martin Exchange were also completed. There are new fishing facilities in Maruga and Caranage. The economic infrastructure expanded to include industrial parks at Point Fortin, Factory Road, Maruga, and Phoenix Park. These are nearly fully occupied. Economic diversification and development of the non-energy sector have been a priority. New export booster strategies, including trade facilitation offices, trade attaches, market intelligence, international and virtual trade missions, and in-market promotions, have supported the business sector. Non-energy export grew by TNT 3.7 billion, 9.6 billion up to 13.3 billion from 2016 to 2023. The ease of doing business has improved with TNT BizLinks platform, eliminating the time wasted on manual transaction. Interferry service or ferry transport has improved since the disastrous service of 2016-17. The Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley has served us well for over 4 decades with commitment and dedication. It is safe to say there isn't a leader anywhere who has had a perfect tour of duty, fulfilling all election promises and not running afoul of their politically divided country at one time or the other. He has contributed considerably to our growth, development, and successes. I thank him for his service and wish him and his family peace and happiness. That there is coming from Senator Independent Senator Hillary Drayton, and she would have basically outlined the achievements of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and what he would have done for this country during his tenure, 2010 to 15, and what he would have done outside of being in government for his 40-something plus years in politics. So again, that's a tribute there to Dr. Rowley, giving him his flowers. Let me see what this one is about. So this is another one. Dr. Rowley 6. Let me see. Okay. Like I would have labeled this. I may have labeled this wrong. Just a minute. Okay, so these are some comments made by Mia Amor Motley, that's the Prime Minister of Barbados, and she said, I am delighted tonight as chairman of CARICOM, that is when he was there. I'm reading it over. I'm delighted tonight as chairman of CARICOM and Prime Minister of Barbados to offer heartfelt thanks to my brother, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, as he retires from the position of Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago after decades of his faithful service to his country and this region. He has been a faithful steward of the affairs of his country and the region, both as head of government and head of the regional integration body. Always forthright, passionate, and ready to defend our people, as well as our right as Caribbean nations to chart our own destiny by promoting an approach to regional development that is based on mutual respect and collaboration. At the personal level, I have truly enjoyed interacting with Dr. Rowley, where we have had to work closely together in recent years as leaders. I sincerely wish Dr. Rowley the very best in whatever he chooses to do as he demits office. So that again was Mia Matley. And now I want to show you this. This is from this cabinet.
Dr. Rowley, this is not goodbye, but this is a heartfelt thank you.
I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life.
It is very difficult to tell Dr. Rowley thank you for one thing, because there are so many things I would like to tell him thank you for. Dr. Rowley would have fulfilled his duties to Trinidad and Tobago, 45 years of service, and I would like to thank him for his steadfastness,
for his love of country,
for his stability and the leadership that he has given to Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for allowing me to lead without hovering. I truly appreciate your confidence in me.
I recognize that every time he does make a decision, it's in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
And that is what I admire about him, his passion, his outstanding vision. It's always guided me right.
I want to thank you most sincerely for what you did to this country during COVID.
But most of all, seeing you as a human being.
for looking at this young lady and
Taking a chance on me. He saw something that, I didn't see. Dragging me to the street
From the sidelines and giving me that opportunity to serve at the highest level.
As an ambassador at the United Nations,
Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago.
and allowing me such close access to learn under his watch. Thank you, Doc, for being that quintessential leader.
Also for his love, passion for character, and to encourage all young people to be involved in government. Thank you for your faith in our future. Thank you for your boundless faith in our destiny.
thank you personally. Time, the effort, the energy, and the belief that you invested not only in me, but in my other colleagues who came in young and fresh and brave 10 years ago.
So to my honorable Prime Minister, I will miss you. We love you and we wish you all of the best. Thank you.
I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life.
The more people just start to cry over. Oh God. I saw this off of Senator the Honorable Renuka Sagram Singh Sukla's page. And she just said she has pictures with herself, Dr. Rowley, and she says, in 2020, you give this little Indian girl from Blaisney Road, Santa Cruz, an opportunity of a lifetime. I have had countless opportunities to introduce you in the hustings and to work with you. Memories I will carry with me forever. Your mentorship, your guidance, and your genuine care for my development and growth, a happiness and well-being is something I could never in this lifetime repay you for. I bow to your feet, my political guru and father. Love you and will miss you, but will always strive to never disappoint you. St. Augustine, your candidate, join me and let's do this together. St. Augustine, let's help Senator Renuka to bring home St. Augustine this year as a tribute to Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. So I too, and the peeps of my people of We Talk D Ting do also want to thank Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, who from the first time he became Prime Minister, I labeled him a transformational leader. And I always said, the first doctor we had took us to independence and then Republican states. And this doctor, Keith Christopher Rowley, will take us to a new society. And we have seen that happen, the digitization, the embracing of technology, and his forward thinking and approach and everything, saving us, saving our lives, using his critical thinking based on science, because he is a scientist, using science, empirical data and information that would have saved a lot of lives. Yes, we lost loved ones, but when you look at other countries, millions millions died. If you add all of them together, millions died. We saw what happened in India. It was horrific. We were scared. We saw what happened in Italy. You were hearing the news from our family in America and England. It was really a scary time. And because of Dr. Rowley's steadfastness and him being a scientist, I'll always say that, we felt comfortable and not afraid of what was happening. We felt reassured. And that is why in 2020, when the election came, because of that and the way he handled things, I think that would have informed a lot of people to say, hey, he saved our life, he saved Trinidad and Tobago, he saved our jobs, he saved our economy, he saved. Yeah, he didn't do it on his own, of course. He was backed up by the Minister of Health and, of course, Dr. Dr. Parasuram, who is the Chief Medical Officer, and then all the staff, doctors, nurses, and all the supporting medical staff, our security services, and everyone who was out there battling for us while we were at home, drawing our salaries as public officers and teachers and others, getting food, hampers, and all the things to help, grants for paying your rent for small businesses who were out of business at that time. There were grants for that. If everybody got it, of course, it will never be everybody got it, but those facilities were there. Had they not been there, the fallout would have been worse. So I, too, Dr. Rowley, and my peeps would like to give you your flowers and thank you for your dedication, for your commitment, for your love, for your patriotism to Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. Really the quintessential Caribbean man. Hey. I'm going to continue before I start to cry, yes? Hey, we go reach to the savannah and all them, not the savannah, we will reach to the Woodford Square just now. You know, we just have to do with little foreign news, right? I'm not tired of saying Dr. Oli was here. After Dr. Williams would have taken us to a period where we were under colonial rule and took us out from that to, as I said, republicanism, and then Dr. Rowley now taking us to this new time and this new space. Yes, so he definitely is. So I'm seeing that prime ministers and leaders are standing up and standing up and being patriots, protecting their territory. The only person who seems not to know how to protect and be patriotic is Kamala Visas. For her, anybody could take over Trinidad, in my opinion, and just do whatever they want once it's a white man. So this was, again, my opinion. 22 hours ago, Canada's Carney, that's the new prime minister, makes statement by choosing Europe, not US, for his first foreign trip. Two European politicians dressed symbolically in red and white sent a message last week to Canada on social media declaring we have got your back. Also signaling support was King Charles, who planted a red maple tree on the grounds of Buckingham Palace and wore his Canadian medals during a high-profile visit to a naval warship. He planted his red maple tree. Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney has arrived in Paris before heading to London on Monday, a day after his 60th birthday, for his first foreign visit, hoping to achieve more than symbolic encouragement. He wants solid support from allies. Not only is Canada being targeted like Europe, but by a raft of swinging US tariffs, but Donald Trump is making it clear he wants to take over his northern neighbors. We appreciate all the symbolic gestures, but we need more public backing, a Canada official told me in a voice which underlined, not me, the person who writes BBC News, which underlined the nervous disbelief shared by most Canadians. Trump is not joking when he calls Canada the United States 51st state. The official messaging from Ottawa from Carney's trip underlines his priorities, finance and fortifying security, a natural fit for the economist who headed the central bank in both Canada and the UK. A statement from his office said his visit is meant to strengthen two of our closest and longest standing economic and security partnerships. His itinerary is full of great symbolism too. I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm just going to read about 2 more paragraphs. Carney revealed it on Friday during his first speech as Prime Minister when he harkened back with his shiny polish to the origins of this former colony. He hailed the wonder of a country built on the bedrock of 3 people, Indigenous, French, and British. So there's a tour destination on his whistle stop tour. I equal what? Iqaluit. People, it's spelled Iqaluit. Work it out. The capital of Canada northmost territory of Nunavut and homeland of the Inuit people. That stop, the statement emphasized, was to reaffirm Canada's Arctic scrutiny and sovereignty. So there, it goes on, but I just wanted to read that. So Canada newly sworn in Prime Minister, who was voted in by the Liberal Party, not the citizens of Canada, but by his party. And he is the Prime Minister of Canada, and an election, I'm sure, is going to come soon. He is standing in solidarity and patriotism to Canada. But in this country, Kamala Persad-Bissessar forever calls she and her minions for sanctions on this country. So let me say this quickly before I go on. I can't remember if it's Alvin is the gentleman name, but if it's not, I met him. He's from England. He's going back sometime this week. He saw me as I was entering Woodford Square. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for always being locked on and tuning into facts to We Talk D Ting. So if it's not Alvin, the gentleman who I met when I was now coming into Woodford Square, good afternoon to him. And to the lady that I was sitting on the steps, she was in front of me with she high heels. Blessed evening. And all the ladies I would have met, and all the people I would have met who support We Talk D Ting, I want to thank you. I want to go just a quick little joke, right? So I wouldn't say who and why, whatever. So it wouldn't matter. So, girl, I can't take this sun, so I had my umbrella up. So one of my peeps and them want to come and meet me, and like I hold on the umbrella too low, and when she come in now, like the spokes of my umbrella hook, she wig, Papa, and the whole wig come off, and you see the stocking in the have on watch me now. But she took it in good stride. She just put it back on, and she said, oh God, I know the camera to see anything, And here she fixed, could hear me? Yes, it fixed. And I have the umbrella kind of hiding so nobody could see. So to that lady, you put a smile on my face, even though it wasn't the way I think it would. So again, thank you for supporting We Talk D Ting. I also want to say, for the how much times, you see the people who just have problems with me, it's people who insecure about themselves. And people who don't know how to navigate the space and does allow the emotional intelligence to guide how they treat and do things. I am not going to dim my light for somebody else to shine. All of us have gifts that was given to us by the Most High. And if you don't want to use the gift you have or the gifts that you have and watching somebody else's gift and you being vexed with it, you have to deal with that. And all those who they put in places of service, whether in public service or in private spaces, whatever it is, to give a service, Learn to know how to deal and treat with people, and don't let your personal bias for the person get in the way of you giving good service to people. And again, I say, all who have issues and problems with me is because they're insecure about themselves. And I want to tell them, they can't do what I does do. And I don't want to do what them does do. So there's no competition, because I don't want what all they have. And what I have is for me. So check on yourself. Be secure in all yourself. And don't be studying me, because me already studying all you. So when all they eating up and guffing up all yourself and all they see me, all they wasting energy, when all they could be allowing positive energy to flow in, so they could treat and deal with people, or looking to gruff up when all they see me or hear me. All they need to deal with that shit for all themselves. Yeah? Because Jennifer Frederick, Auntie Jenny, will be me. What you see is what you get. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to put on no false voice and hide this and this and that. What you see is what you get with me. And if people find that I have something to say and it's something they could learn from, I didn't just get up one morning and decide I go see this and that. I read, I research, I did my little studies, and this is what it is. So don't study what I have, because I don't study what all you have. And I don't want what all you have. And all they can't get what I have. And all they can't do what I does do. And I don't want to do what all it does do. Let all the light shine. And don't expect me to dim my light in all the present so they could feel good about all themselves. Not me. So let me continue. That was a public service announcement. So let me go to Tobago quick. So, well, all you see that Dr. Oli went across on Saturday to the commissioning or the completion of the Tobago airport. And listen to me, them walk that airport, I start to feel tired, because I got walk is stopping at all. This airport is big. If I use in that airport, I say no one place. I come into thingy, I'm not going to try to walk to know, because you got lost there and people didn't even know you lost there. I just me saying that. You know, I'm making joke, but it's real big. So with that now, Dr. Rowley would have spoken. Let me tell you something. It had a pastor come up to talk. Can't remember his name. Listen to me now. Somebody must tell him, I ain't preaching now, and he tell them I'm putting it my way. I go come to that just now, and the man talk. The man talk and talk about how Fally and them didn't want the what you call it thing? Sandals, they run sandals and all that big airport. And watch me now, he get them, and when he done, he pray. Oh, what I like he too bad. I think it was Pastor Frank, if I'm mistaken. Mr. Martin George, who does get me on my nerves, well, really and truly, I wasn't on my nerves when I listened to him Saturday. He get them good too. He get them good. He talk about service. That's a training service, and he get them good. Everybody get them good. And Fally sit down there like a PR with the team. I see Faith, me and calling you no doctor, because you can go and cost people who you not in charge of in sense, but you are part of, you the head of the department of wellness thing. I'm going to cost people. So you ain't no doctor, use Faith to me. Sit down there and pushing up, she look like she want to stroops. Or they didn't have to be there. And the next one sit down there like she get the whole bolt of cloth to make that pants. I hear when Juke was talking, some woman standing behind only getting monkey face and all kind of thing. So people like didn't really to appreciate them there, because when they started here about sandals and everybody else get sandals and they didn't get it, and now they have a big airport. One set of people could come and they didn't have bed space, all because of Fally and Juke and the PDP and Faith and all of them. Anyways, so Dr. Rowley, but before I go to that, like you go back and Tobago just now, because see, they're saying that Fally rejects Trevor James. So you know them was getting ready for the election and whatever. So like he want Trevor James, and now like it has some others. Me even reading that story, because them born in confusion and the bacchanal will end up in confusion, because they start off with Juke. You tell them what Juke gave, what Juke about. They didn't care about that. They was in office. They want office. And as soon as they get office, They throw juke at the side. They will pay for that too because you know why? They enable juke. They enable juke anything, wherever it is, and then pull away from here and form something as it was independent and then TPP. I tell them, and I tell all of them, you see, when all they do people them kind of thing, because people never vote for all for no TPP and no independent. They vote for all based on PDP. And what all they was telling the youths and the people in Tobago, and all they fool them, they fall for it. And all they had Tobago in a mess today. That's why Dr. Rowley had to say Tobago is paying them. Because he feel the vibes and hear the conversation. With that big airport bill, everybody watching all, you know, all they could show the Diane had that just now. Everybody watching Farley and them because Farley and them who prevent Tobago from having a hotel, the Sandals brand. So, Tasha Boris, the one who tell we be unwashed and uncircumcised. Or remember she? Well, this is she some time ago. That's all. I'm going to find it for you. Everything. Right. Only listen to she. Right. Just now what I saying this. Okay. So let me go on the page itself. Who page I could go on? Who page? Who page I could go on? Who page I could go on and get this video? Only give me a minute. I have to play it for you. I go on a page and get it. Somebody page go have it. What's going on here? So, right, let me see if it have it on this page. Right now, I'll get footage just now. AA. Okay. Okay, so like it's not here. It's not here, so I gotta go somewhere else. I feel I know I could get that, you know. Yeah, give me a minute on it. Okay, let me see. Rick, if you're listening, send it from me, the one with that Tasha girl. That Boris girl. Send it from me, Rick. Because I don't know where the thing going. Okay, so it's not here. So I'm going to go on the bunking page and see. I feel it must be there. I want to let it here. That's why I was so interested in getting it. I don't know why it's not opening from my page. Just not the bunking. Okay. Let me see. Well, give me a minute, eh? What do you think when it has wanted, boy? I tell you, let's stay with me. Don't interfere with it. Don't like to hear truth. They think my people will leave, they will stay with me. They might find it, or they want to hear me talk about Tobago and that one who talk about play between we leg. Yes, she just now.
Margaret from Trinidad.
Oh God, just now. I want to start from the start just now.
She felt I'm not pretty high.
Just now.
The words of the late great Princess Margaret from Trinidad, where she felt Kamla put the highway somewhere. The airport could go there too. Shiny election gift. But in the words of the late great Princess Margaret from Trinidad, where she felt Kamla put the highway somewhere. The airport could go there too. Shiny election gift.
Yes.
But
The Sandals.
And now, She there talking all kind of nice thing. I want to tell Tasha, you see the big new, because Princess Margaret tell we Kamala could have take the highway and put it between she leg. I want to tell Tasha Boris, because she said they could take the airport, it didn't finish bill yet, and put it between the leg. I want to tell she'd finish bill now, it bigger than you. She take it and put it between she leg. And the sad thing is, it might really fit in truth. This is Dr. Rowley speaking about
people, on invitation of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, had looked at Tobago and had agreed that Tobago was a place that they could invest. But we chased them away, accused them of all manner of evil, tell lie on them, try to embarrass them, try to damage their product. The bottom line is,
yes, people, they could do this whole, they be staying right here.
I didn't give up. After all that, recently I spoke to the leadership at Sandals and I asked them to come look at us again. And if I was the problem, I wouldn't be there tomorrow. But the leader has agreed to come to Tobago next month. And when he comes, he will meet Prime Minister Stuart Young. And you Tobagonians, especially you, Fali, and you, Watson, I'm inviting both of you from this platform, whenever Adam Stewart comes to Trinidad and Tobago, when he comes here in August, you, and all of you, with the Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, for the people of Tobago, for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, sit down with him, and all of you become salesmen and saleswomen for the potential of Tobago, and success will be that you all manage to convince them to look at Tobago again and give Tobago one or more of those standards projects that they carry.
People, they're testing we. They want to test we. We ready for the test. They can't take the truth. Or they can't take the truth, someone in Tobago, all they know. Father never do nothing. All the people are saying, oh, how come Father come and talk about what all they fight on the airport, all them fight on the airport. Well, listen to this one now. This one is how me with my mouth still open. Just now, let me get it. All they could interfere with the life as much as all they want. It just shows that is the truth are talking and all they have a problem. Because when people lying and talking their foolishness, all they don't shut down their life and all kind of thing. So this was Diane Haddad. Oh no, but let me see, March. Yes, because they say that Diane Haddad says, bring Jesus to run the port, yes. So I go down, this was March 13, 2018. I go down. Well, remember, she always had a problem with Dr. Rowley and always had a problem with the sea bridge and the air bridge and the this and that. March 13, 2018. So I firmly believe this is what she would have said, right? Approximately 34 small businesses have already closed in Tobago, with another 12 that may shut down the next few months, according to President of the Inter-Island Transport Committee of the Tobago Chamber, Diane Haddad. We have 34 or so businesses that have already closed. The information shows that we have another 12, so that they may go in another month or two. Speaking on the Morning Edition program TV6, Hada said over 60% of businesses have been shut down as a result of the lack of business resulting from inter-island transportation issues. She said the chamber is doing surveys at the moment to assess the scope of the damage. There has been no business. Loss in business have been something like 60-something%. There's no business. That's total collapse. I'm not sure how long others can hold on. It's going to take a very long time to recover from this. She added that businesses has dwindled to the point where the shortage of goods makes no difference compared to the lack of demand in our islands. There's no talk about the goods not coming because the goods not selling, she said. Speaking with reference to the planned shutdown by Tobago businessmen, she said that at this point they're not sure how much help the shutdown would do. What we need is don't intend to do. I'm not sure. I don't know what shutting down is going to have any effect or anything. There are other options on the table, and if it has to be in conjunction with the shutdown, then so be it, she said. Meanwhile, Minority Leader Watson Juke said Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley should apologize for the damage that he has done for Tobago under the present government. I'm calling on the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago to apologize to the people after lying to them from month after month, Juke said. On Monday, it was announced that both the Trinidad and Tobago Express and the TNT Spirit will be out of commission until March 22nd, leaving only the cargo start to provide transportation to the sea bridge. That was done on Hadar Day and Watson Juke. Now they have ferries still. You don't even hear talk about them. It have ferries for so. If you miss one, you get a next one, right? That was, she complained and business this and all kind of thing, right? Yes, she know all you. Hey. I was shocked. It is shock. Hold it look.
We are indeed happy that you could have stayed with us for this momentous occasion here in Tobago.
Oh, let's see that. All of us see it again. She crying now. Let me play it again. They're cussing Dr. Rowley, stink. All kind of thing, no, not obscene language, but I know what I mean. She cried. Listen for what look like. Yeah?
We are indeed happy that you could have stayed with us for this momentous.
She's crying for what Dr. Rowley did for Tobago. They get hospital. They get one set of cargo, ferries. No complaint again, but goods. And they get a big new spanking airport that Tasha Boris, they say, PNM should put between the leg. And I say she better put it between she or now. And I said the only thing is, it might really fit. So Diane had to make sure Tasha Boris and put it between she leg because they might not have an airport. You think it easy? You think it's soft? So this is what people in Tobago real hold up the man and all the good, yes, if you follow them, you do all the wrong things, you know. You do all the wrong things. New hotel talks spark economic hopes for Tobago. This was yesterday in The Guardian. In 2019, Sandal Resorts International withdrew from Tobago after controversy after the project on the island. Now the international hotel brand is set to return as fresh negotiations are expected to begin next month when Sandal's executive arrive in Trinidad and Tobago. It was announced by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who made the comments at yesterday's commissioning of Tobago's new terminal of the A.R. Robinson International Airport. The move has been welcomed by economist Dr. Ronald Ramkissoon, Dr. Valmiki Arjun, and political analyst Dr. Winford James. Ramkissoon said if talks with Sandals result in concrete plans, It will bring Trinidad and Tobago on an international footing in the global hotel sector. If the right agreements are reached, these can serve as springboards for the development of Tobago, he said. Well, you better talk to Tashia and Fali and Faith and them. And Juke, who they say they want to have the, paraphrasing, have the young people in Tobago as if they're slave again with white glove and black top and black, white top and black skirt serving people. And all over the world in hotels, that is the service you get. Because at the end of the day, it's a job you're doing. Hey, okay. However, Ramki soon said it was important for the country to know exactly where its interests lie and that negotiations are done in good faith. Talk to Tobago. We need to pay attention to issues like the environment, which is very critical to the island's economy. And we need to ensure that as far as possible, we do in fact get the kinds of revenues that are going to offset the costs that usually arise in respect to any form of foreign investment. It is important that positive offsets the costs, Ramkis will explain. Arjun agreed that any decision by Sanders to invest in building a hotel in Tobago will present significant economic advantages for the economy, particularly in light of the recent opening of a new airport. He noted that this will stimulate job creation, both directly through hotel operations and indirectly via the supply chain and ancillary services such as transportation, food production, and retail. And the farmers and them could do the crops and whatever it is, and Sanders buy directly from them, whether the chicken, the goat, the cow, the whatever, the vegetables, the tomatoes, the pimentos, the whatever. So business booming. They could have been happening a long time. He added that this will not only provide opportunities to the local agricultural sector, but also encourage value-added activities in food processing. They should also formulate an agreement that a minimum percentage of food items at the hotels should be sourced locally, providing a guaranteed market for farmers, fostering sustainable economic growth. Arjun says, this was especially critical for Tobago, where economic opportunities are less diverse. The influx of employment can increase household income in Tobago and improve living standards, fostering a more robust local economy. Additionally, the hotel's presence will likely attract other businesses, such as restaurants, store operators, craft vendors, creating a multiplier effect that amplifies economic growth across the region, Arjun said. He said the new airport enhanced Tobago's accessibility, making it a more attractive destination for international tourists. Sanders' reputation as a luxury brand can position Tobago as a premium tourist destination, drawing higher spending visitors and increasing foreign exchange earning. Arjun said the tourism revenue can be reinvested into local infrastructure, education, and healthcare, further driving long-term development in Tobago. Additionally, he noted the hotel operation can spur skill development and capacity building amongst the local workforce, leveraging Tobago's hotel school to enhance training and expertise in hospitality and service industries, stating that overall Sandal investment aligns with TNT's strategic goal of diversifying the economy, creating a more sustainable and resilient economic future. James, who also welcomed the move, said that this must be done with agreements with the people of Tobago and not forced. I stop real one time. Anybody forcing anything on anybody in Tobago? So Tobago people stupid, they can't talk for themselves and sit and have a conversation where they want and they want. You need to bring in that. Let me tell you something, eh? Sometimes them would look like we'd be so blasted negative too, boy. Oh God. The other two economists and they, talk, think you have to come in and nothing but the first and people. Look, rock so it is shook itself, yes? So, let me continue. Remember, Dr. Rowley, the British has now imposed on us a fee to get visas to go, because you didn't need a visa before. And usually England is like the route you take to go to like Africa, Ghana, and those places, all that. You have to get a visa now. And they're speaking about persons going up to England, coming for visits from Trinidad to England, and when they reach seeking asylum. And I heard Dr. really say that the law, if I'm not mistaken, in England, is that you could come and seek asylum and you don't have to something. So it's easy to just seek that. They want to hear what the next country you come from had to say and all that kind of thing. You could seek asylum. So apparently there's an influx of people seeking asylum up there coming from here, and it is alleged that it's people of unreputable character, whatever. So Dr. Rowley was saying, I paraphrase, and I kind of understand what he's saying, is that, okay, let me talk for me, whatever. I think that it is unfortunate that, and this is the story I come into, that now we have to, the whole country have to go through this because of some. And it may have to do with the laws of England, because if your laws is somebody seeking asylum, that when you check with the other government where they come from and the police, all that, and they have questions, whatever, then you treated it like that. If all they don't do that, then only encouraging people just to come and whatever. But the other thing about it is this. We are independent. We have the CCJ here, the Privy Council in England. Those judges don't live in Trinidad, but that is the highest court of appeal that we have, because there are people right here in this country fight on the Caribbean Court of Justice, where would have been for the Caribbean, people who understand our culture, knows our culture, know they're fighting on Kamala say, it ain't enough Indian on it, and they fight down this thing. This was a dreamer, Anna Robinson, if I remember directly. They fight on that. So now if you have to go to the Privy Council, you have to get a visa, because you can't just run up this one again, whatever it is. So all them who like to run to the Privy Council, our therefore they will still be running. But the salient point is this. All our colonizers, we worked for free under conditions that were inhumane, my African ancestors. You all introduced indentureship when enslavement, that only created enslavement, chattel slavery, only come back and free as humanitarian rights. Yeah? But Dr. Equilliam sort of written and said it had to do with economics, because sugar was not king anymore. And because Europe had made so much money already, I'm paraphrasing now, so much money already off of the backs and the sweat and the tears and the blood and the mutilation and the killings and the rapes and everything of people of African descent, that they invested in industrialization, so the steam engine and that, and they started thing beat into sugar, and then they found the honey and all that. So then that's such a need for sugar from the Caribbean, which was beginning to be too expensive to transport, because when England shipped and them coming up there, going up there with the supplies from the Caribbean, you had the Dutch and them who was the pirates at the sea. You had to pay now for protection. So the ship and them had to ride in a formation, so the ship that carrying all the goods in the middle, and then you have the outriders, so and all that. So that was costing a lot of money. And then you had hurricanes down here and storms and all that kind of thing happening. So sometime a whole crop would have been lost. So it became very expensive. So when they got a choice, they turned to the beet, they turned to the honey and all that, they get industrialized, and then bound for me. So Dr. Equilliams, his preface would have been, because of economic, humanitarian stopping, it wasn't just humanitarians, right? It had to do with economics, why enslavement was stopped, slave trade was stopped. And the indentured laborers came here, and we know the story with that and all that. So my thing is, we got independence from that. In 1962, Dr. Equilliams became the Prime Minister, formed the People's National Movement in 1956, and would have lobbied against criticisms for us to get our independence. We know who was criticizing it. They didn't want them to lead. They felt the white man should have still been leading us and governing us. Black people couldn't govern themselves. So, and we still hear them talking that talk, so we know who they are. And we get our independence, we get our Republican state. But the Court of Appeal is still in England. So there way we have to go for a final appeal. And on top of that, now they tell them we have to all that we had to get a visa, because a few people would have come into England and do XYZ, when all the laws would have, want a better word, would have provided for that. All we had to suffer. Well, listen to me. That is why we really have to make the Caribbean Court of Justice our final court of appeal. So this is March 17 can make CCJ final court of appeal. The Criminal Bar Association has backed former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley calls for TNT to make the Caribbean Court of Justice the final court of appeal and leave the Privy Council. We have right here within the Caribbean jurisdiction very brilliant jurists, and it is disappointing that our people cannot free themselves from the mental slavery vis-a-vis the development of our own jurisprudence, said Israel Khan SC, who heads the association. I want to tell Israel Khan SC with the greatest of respect is you need to talk to Kamla Prasad Bisesa and don't come with no mental slavery, because indentured Indians who came here wasn't in no slavery. So from the time you talk about slavery, to me, you're talking about people of African descent. Don't drop that on me. Because we were ready for the CCJ. It's Kamla Prasad Bisesa who say it will have enough India. So that have no mental slavery. Because people of Indian descent was never in no slavery. So don't go there with that talk. Ask Kamla why she refused it. And why they continue to feel that only white people could run things. Ask you why she only calling for Trump to sanction and calling for this one. Ask them what kind of mental thing they have. Don't mention no slavery to me, please. Don't do it. It's becoming very annoying and very insulting. Because all of them go through no slavery to be talking about mental slavery. It's African people here to be talking about. And African people have fight down the CCJ. He added, in the, I'm not seeing the word in the near future, both the opposition and government should put their heads together and thus speak with one voice. We want the CCJ as part of our next code. Talk to Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the opposition. Meanwhile, the association congratulated the new Prime Minister, Stuart Young, and welcomed the announcement of Camille Robinson Reggie as Attorney General. I'll comment on that. So when they write anything, I think there must be more fear. Say that you hope the opposition, UNC, will stand with the government and hold one head for the CCJ to be our final court of appeal. I don't have no mental slavery. Because with all due respect, sir, people of Indian descent go through no slavery to be talking about no mental slavery. They went through something else, not no slavery. Don't only drop that on me, just like Kurt May talking about we don't respond to the whip. You blasted fast and out of place to Kurt May. What does respond to the cutlass? I just asking a question. Don't be dropping them talk and we just and feel you wouldn't respond. And again, I say it's not all Indian people that be behaving like that. Okay, so let me continue. So, Dr. Deva Maraj all know that Attorney at Law Lala SC would have been down at the function that the People's National Movement had down at the square yesterday. And he would have said the reason why he resigned from the UNC, basically stating that they're not going nowhere, they're not listening, the road they're going down, this racism and all these things. Like he don't want to be a part of that. He had enough, and he came to see what the PNM was having. He had on a white top. He said that he's not endorsing the PNM, but he come to see. I don't know what he come to see, because then PNM is always a love. We don't run nobody. So I don't know what he came to see. But as Dr. Rowley said, Minister Stuart Young said, well, Prime Minister Stuart Young would have said, excuse me, all are welcome, and it's about unifying. Yeah, that's what we're about. So I continue. So Dr. Deva Maraj would have written, I got this from News Source page, the recent resignation of Senior Counsel Larry Lala from United National Congress is not merely a footnote in the party's history. It is a deafening alarm bell, a clarion call for introspection that the Kamla Prasad Bisesa leadership has chosen to ignore. This resignation, coupled with a silent but damning exodus of sitting members of parliament like Anita Haynes, Rai Ragbir, Dinesh Rambali and Roshan Pare, as well as the systematic purging of dedicated constituency executive, plans a grim picture of a party in free fall. Excuse me. Yet the Kamala-led UNC remains eerily indifferent, more consumed caught in external alliances with OWTU and PEP, groups that have spent decades in open hostility to the UNC, than addressing the rot festering within its own rank. While the leadership parades as a so-called unity effort outside the party, it has turned a cold, calculated blind eye to the simmering discontent within. Instead of nurturing internal cohesion and addressing the legitimate grievances of its members, the Kamala-led UNC has chosen to sacrifice its most loyal and competent supporters on the altar of political expediency. The likes of Anil Ram, Ravi Ratiram, and Damian Lyder, whose contributions to the party's progress are as substantial as a desert mirage, are inexplicably elevated, while seasoned stalwarts like Larry Lala are unceremoniously discarded like yesterday's news. Larry Lala, I put in the SC, unwavering dedication to the UNC is a matter of public record. He served as senator, contested internal elections, penned incisive opinion pieces, and represented the party on national platforms with distinction. Yet his forced resignation is not an isolated incident. It is emblematic of a toxic pattern of neglect and betrayal under Kamala's leadership. How can a party that claimed to be the voice of the people justify casting aside those who have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into its cause? This growing disaffection has not escaped the notice of the People's National Movement. Outgoing Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, channeling the late Patrick Manning, extended a thinly veiled invitation to disenchanted UNC members. All those of you in the UNC who have found yourself heavy laden, come to the PNM, and we shall give you political rest. For many UNC faithful, weary of the Kamala-led UNC backroom deals, blatant favoritism, and the elevation of individuals and questionable past, Rowley's call is becoming increasingly irresistible. The UNC, once a beacon of hope and a symbol of progressive change, has devolved into a cesspool of self-interest where loyalty is rewarded only if it serves the whim of a select few. Constituency seats, ministerial offices, and state board positions are traded like trinkets in a flea market, while those who have dedicated their lives to the party are unceremoniously discarded without so much as a second thought. This is not the UNC we once knew. It is certainly not the UNC that Trinidad and Tobago deserves. As a member of the UNC with a deep-seated commitment to the principles of good governance, I can no longer stand idly by as the party I once believed in crumbles under the weight of Kamla Persad-Bissessa's ineptitude. No doubt it was with a heavy heart, but an unshakable resolve, that Larry announced his resignation from the Kamla-led UNC. Larry, like so many others, resigned not from the ideals of the UNC, but from the incompetent indifference and moral bankruptcy of Kamala's leadership. To my fellow UNC members, not my members, Dr. Deva Maraj, I urge you to open your eyes and confront the stark reality of our party's decline. We cannot continue to tolerate a leadership that prioritizes self-interest over service, blind loyalty over competence, and backroom deals over principled governance. The time has come for a revolution within the UNC, a return to the values that once made us a force of change. Kamla Persad-Bissessa is not the UNC. She's an anchor dragging us into irrelevance. Time has come to resign from Kamla. It's in bold letters. As the late Winston Churchill once said, the price of greatness is responsibility. The UNC must take responsibility for its failures and chart a new course. If it fails to do so, it risks becoming a mere footnote in the annals of Trinidad and Tobago's political history, a shadow of its former self, devoid of political and devoid of purpose and devoid of hope. The fight for a better Trinidad and Tobago continues, but it cannot be waged under a Kamla-led UNC banner that has lost its moral compass. I resigned from Kamla, but I remain steadfast in my commitment to the ideals of the UNC. The time for renewal is now. The time for change is now. The time to reclaim our party from the clutches of failed leadership is now. Dr. Devan Maraj, PhD, MBA, and this is a picture of now Prime Minister Stuart Young, SC, and Mr. Larry Lala, SC. So I continues. So Kamla Prasad is concerned about Prime Minister, well, it has happened. So she could keep she concerns. She condemns, in fact, Minister Stuart Young's appointment. And I'm just going to read this. I ain't even going to read the next one. So March 17, Kamala calls Young's appointment as PM an assault on democracy. The United National Congress has strongly condemned the recent appointment of Stuart Young as Prime Minister, calling it an assault on democracy and an unlawful act of desperation. In a press release, the opposition party accused the ruling People's National Movement of attempting to hold onto power through deception and manipulation. Really, Kamla Prasad says that, really? The UNC alleges that Young's appointment, which comes ahead of the upcoming general election, is a strategic move by the PNM to create an illusion of change while retaining control. According to the opposition, this decision does not reflect the will of the people as it bypasses the democratic process of a general election. It is nothing short of a blatant disregard of the Constitution, the UNC said. The PNM is merely reshuffling the same deck of cards or deck of failures, hoping to convince the electorate to give them a chance to continue their mismanagement and destruction of our nation. Okay, wait. The opposition also criticizes the appointment of Camille Robinson Regis, arguing that it does not signal any real changes in governance. This is not a new direction. This is a sinking ship scrambling for life votes, the statement. I may remember. I want to tell Kamla Prasad something. If it's the PNM strategy to do what you're saying, at least they have a strategy. And if you find, and you're the party find, that this government doing so much wrong, how come you never bring, I understand, a motion of no confidence in the PNM and Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley? Because when he was in opposition, he brought several against you. You find the government doing so bad and all that you never bring a motion of no confidence against them? That's 2. 3. What democracy is at stake? Stop fooling people. The people, when they go to vote, don't vote for a prime minister. I never went and see the ballot paper that are prime minister. When we vote for members of parliament. And the constitution is clear when it states what process has to happen if a prime minister is emitting office before his tenure or would have died in office. And just to come to that thing with the members of parliament, is the party that wins the election and commands the majority of seats, the members of parliament who we vote for, they will make a decision between themselves who they will put forward as the prime minister of the country. And it's based on who garners the most support in the winning party that is in parliament will decide who is the prime minister. So it's not we, the citizens, that decide who is the prime minister. It's the members of parliament of the winning political party makes that decision on behalf of their constituents and by extension, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That is in the Constitution. So what law and what democracy Kamla Prasad is talking about? The elections, the national election of Trinidad and Tobago is legally due this year. So what wrong have they done? Or they keep tying up deliberately political leader, the PNM, and Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Rowley is the political leader of the People's National Movement, and he's no longer the Prime Minister, who nobody votes for other than the members of Parliament who voted for Minister Stuart Young, because those were the names that went to the President today, or yesterday, or whenever it went, to show her that in the ruling PNM, that is in government, that this is the members of Parliament who give their support to Minister Stuart Young, SC, to be the Prime Minister. What have we, Dr. Rowley, done on the PNM? We don't vote for a Prime Minister. But again, the PNM is not like you. When election is to be called, it will be called. They will say extra 3 months and 14 days or something. So they won't do that. So have no fear. So what illegal have they done? And then again, the internal election for the position of political leader of the PNM, not the government, the PNM, chairman of the PNM, general secretary of the PNM, and those high posts there, I think they have assistant general secretary, is due 2026. So again, I'm saying, what wrong has the PNM done? That is why Ole didn't have an injunction to stop that process today. Ole love injunction. How come Ole didn't want to the Privy Council to stop it? How Ole didn't go to the Court of Appeal and the lower court and all them court and get a judge to put an injunction to stop what happened this morning? If our democracy has been broken and the citizens of this country is not them, how Ole didn't go to court? Ole does go and get pre-action protocol letter and all. How come Ole didn't do that to stop the process? I was sitting on waiting to see when some marshal walk in and give the president a letter to say to stop the proceeding. How that happen? Stop fooling all the people. Stop fooling citizens who may not take the time to read or understand. Nothing wrong was done. The Constitution provides for exactly what happened there today. We are taking that chain up and chop it up, Kamla Pasabi and Dr. Deva Maraj and all who running from your party and running from the UNC. They're telling we, it had nothing remain now. That is dregs. What you have in the UNC right now is dregs. They scrape from the bottom of the barrel. Nobody of caliber wants to be around the UNC and you Kamla Pasabi. What you have there, Khadija, Mohit, Ravi, Rudy, Anil, Naked, David, who you have? Look, woman, we are bald-headed breaker. So let me continue. So I see that Selwyn Kojo at it again. Me didn't want to read what he writes. I just want to ask you something. Because you see them who like to tote because they didn't get what they want and what they think is their birthright. I want to ask Selwyn Kojo something. Because the UNC where you're choking up under in 2010 in The Guardian, government seeks to replace central bank directors. The government is seeking to remove the 5 non-executive directors of the 8-member central bank board in a move that has raised issues of the independence of the central bank, possibilities of conflict of interest, even the legality of the president appointing the new directors before the completion of the term of existing directors. So cannot feel everybody does do like them. The cabinet last week submitted the names of Robert Myers, Roger Hossain, Rabindranath Monan, M. Lala, and Sheila Bolai to the president as the new directors of the central bank. Finance Minister Winston Dukaran proposes that the 5 replace Selwyn Kojo, Barbara Chator, Amelia Carrington, Norris Campbell, and Carly Grave. And I want to ask Selwyn Kojo, because you was up under UNC and all of them, remove your ass from the central bank board when you did get it under Mr. Patrick Mannion and the People's National Movement. And is it the problem you have? But you have no problem with them removing you. That's why Satmaraj, God rest his soul, sit down and embarrass you like a dog on TV and say, what you do? You ain't been a foul for your people. You have a black organization and you correct what you build for your people, your African people. And here you had a report to make. They was paying you to do it because you would have spoken about the inequity in African students getting into medical school and whatever, and you approach XYZ and XYZ and then tell you, do up a report, something, research on it, whatever they're paying you. Up to now, they're still waiting to understand. That was since back in the 90s. It's Dr. Bartholomew would have come out and real thing because some of his students who were working under him complained that they're not getting in medical school, and when he checked, because they were bright and all that. He saw that and he made a thing about it. What you do? What you do? So your problem is your problem, as I say. You're up under the UNC and then fire your ass from the board at the central bank. And when Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley come, he was not reinstated. Is that why I have so much problem with Dr. Rowley to this day? Eh? Listen to this, just a little piece. So this was in 2019. Theodore Lewis was responding to Kojo, and some foolishness he write again. A response to Kojo, and Kojo writes some piece called Why I'm Here. So this is what Theodore Lewis is saying. I must contextualize this column with a quote from C.L.R. James from his essay, The Making of a Caribbean People. Taken from Spears of Existence, James was relating the story of an insurrection plot that was revealed by a slave to his master at the last minute. He writes, now it is interesting to note that this fellow who betrayed the plot was working with a justice, whether he loved his master or not, or some other reason. He had acquired a certain respect in subservience to the conception of law and order of the masters of the society which he had just entered. And I say that because we shall see this type of constantly reappearing. It is most prominent in West Indian society today, the house slave. With his black empowerment, a failed project, Selwyn Kojo is now on a different scene, wandering in the wilderness, searching and musing and professing. He suggests that Indians will procreate themselves into power, so blacks must come to terms with this demographic inevitability and get on board with Kamla, the same Kamla who fired his ass. He writes 8 columns on the theme, preparing the way for Kamla. The newspaper should have told him that he was late since Kamla had already arrived in 2010. In his piece, While I'm Here, in the Sunday Express of February 24th, Kojo sings the praises of Kamla, citing her scholarship and vision for the Africans in the country. His entreaty was that it is important to treat Mrs. Possessor at her word, not a word on her self-award silk. There's one problem with that, Selwyn. We know her. Why take her word when we have had her deeds? The People's Partnership was a multiracial party. Kamla walked away from it and continued to disavow it. Kojo seemed to have a blind spot there. He is afraid to explore why Kamla is turning her back on the opportunity to be in a coalition with Africans. Where is John Sandy? Where are Verna St. Rose, Marlene Kudre, Ashford Jack, Nicole Griffith, Clifton Nikoto, Brent Sancho? Where is Njak now? That dagger is dead. Where is Tobago? Why does Kojo not publicly join her party and go on her platforms when he has started? If he thinks that she should be the chosen one, why is he choosing to operate only in the shadows? It is not that he is playing the game of both sides. Here making this ambiguous public to-do about Kamla to scare the People's National Movement into accepting him as part of their 2020 ticket. As Leonard Grant pointed out recently, Kojo is a PNM man. The other day he went up to the highest floor of the central bank with the whole PNM hierarchy in tow, including the Prime Minister and Chief Justice. He is Sat boy, but he has demonstrated that he is Rowley boy too. But back to his attempt to polish Kamla. The evidence is that black children fail under her. Black schools were run into the ground as Hindu and Muslim schools ascended. Children from Victoria and Caroni made their way to Hillview, Naparima, Presentation, Sags, and Lakshmi, and then to UWI, while children of Port of Spain, San Fernando, Marabella, Sandy Grande made their way to government, Anglican, and Catholic primary schools, then to government secondary schools, and into the police convoy on the way to Golden Grove and the Port of Spain prison. We cannot find black children amongst the top essay performers. Kamla made a speech from Grant Memorial School asking how we can multiply their success in the essay. Well, by bringing all schools on equal footings. As a black child cannot get into the Grant School, even if he or she lives in Carib Street. Black children from other islands crush black children from our country in SC and Cape. Jamaica has no shortage of black doctors. We are bringing in Cuban doctors with black scholars excluded from Monto. Kamala's dream was for a law school in Davie. She built a hospital in Couva. What dream does she have for Laventille or Marabella? Where the two Anglican schools that serve the train of gangsters on the train line are on academic watch? Is it under Kamala as Minister of Education that Panda dismantled John Donaldson Technical Institute and the youth camps, places where black youth go after secondary schooling? Most recent experience at UWI is that the black student is better off applying to Mona. Life Sport was created by Kamala for black youth as an alternative to UWI, a place where they could be tutored by expert criminals. Now the other day when Sharanda's Prasad crossed the floor in Guyana, Kojo wrote a column in the Express titled A Caribbean Hero. He explained that Prasad must be respected for the action he took. He listened to the conscience and his constituents and shook up the political world around him. That to me is the issue, is a true measure of a statesman. This stance that Professor Kojo takes on Charandas Prasad crossing of the floor is quite useful here because it reveals to the public the warped way in which he thinks. Ask anybody in town if they agree with Kojo that Charandas Prasad as a Caribbean hero. When Rupert Griffith crossed the floor here, that Good Friday, they beat a bubbly in a Rima and had a placard on it which says Dr. Rupert Griffith. I don't know what scene Kojo is on, but he is talking to us from the shadows, playing some games, but carnival time. But it's carnival time. I hope he takes off the mask on Ash Wednesday. And this was written in 2019. So Selvin Kojo, me I have no respect for you. You like a real little dog. Yeah? You went to Satmarat's funeral and equate him, the great leader, as the great leader, Dr. Martin King Jr. Why you didn't equate him to Mahatma Gandhi, who also fought for his people of Indian descent? Why you didn't equate him to that? You sat down on CNC3 or one of them show and Satmaraj embarrassed you and you had to shut your mouth. You want to talk blackness? What you ever do for black people? So let me continue. But it's a problem with Dr. Ronnie PNM because they didn't hire back in the central bank after Kamala and then fire you, throw you out like a dog. You always up under them. So I'm seeing that there was a protest outside the parliament. I ain't going to play it. I'm just going to ask them a question. Their conversation used to be, Rowley must go. Rowley must go. The conversation is called election now, and they have one set of issues and they're talking. And I want to ask them, where was their voices? When Kamala Prasad, the session, on the eve of the election, removed the clothes from a bankrupt company, OAS, the $1 million bond they put down that in the event the company go bankrupt and they finish the work, the country could get back that money. She removed the clause so that that bankrupt company could get back the money. All they was fighting with Dr. Rowley and this government to go to the arbitration court to get back that $1 billion. Where was the voices there? Where was all the voices when the Beaton wastewater project never finished? And the conversation, a man would take all the money and go Panama. You was out there in front of the Beaton wastewater project where I one set of grass and bush and all kind of thing complaining and saying we want back the money. Where you was, all the who protesting outside the president's house today, when the interchange, the correct interchange part of it did fall apart and all that and it was overpriced, and when this government came, they believe for the fraction of the price. Where all it was when Kamala Prasad session and refused to renovate and fix the president ground, but was paying President Kamona living money or whatever it's called, it living thing, to live somewhere else because the condition of the president's house. Where all it was there who are outside the president's house today, where the People's National Movement under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley would have renovated, that the president could be inside it. Where all it was today, where all it was when there was only having Parliament down in the same waterfront where it says Manning is vanity project. All of them down there, because higher down there, it was like it was a house. They having Parliament in the towers and them there. When they leave the Red House, just so. Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and the PNM use taxpayers' money wisely and rebuild or refurbish the Red House, where today all this sitting down, where that group was who marching outside and talking about call election now, where all it was when Kamala Persad sent back the OPVs but only keep the helicopter, I understand, and say the war is on land, not on sea. Where all it was to let all the voices be heard when they sell the blimp for scrap that was helping so much to deal with crime, when she dismantled the whole security system, where already day, when they take a typewriter, we call them a typist, with a false academic qualification and make sure the head of the intelligence agency in this country, where did all the voice there to come out and talk? Where did all the voice there when Kamala, when she was Attorney General? Because as they didn't rehire what's his name, Bob Lindquist, to treat with the corruption that Ramesh Rosmaraj, when he was AG under Pandey, to treat with the massive corruption in Piako Airport. Why already didn't complain and march around them and tell them bring back Bob Lindquist? We already did. When Kamala Persad and them create a new ministry of justice, and put a man who was on the bench today, the next day he on a UNC platform, make he the member of parliament. People vote for him. He become the justice minister. And the only thing that department do after spending millions of taxpayers' money to set up a new ministry is Section 34. After the Attorney General promised the Americans who wanted to extradite Ish and Steve, the two financiers who was fingered in the Piako Airport scandal, because people make jail, who was with them make jail and pay back money. One of the day when the Attorney General at the time tell the Americans and them don't worry, they will face court down here. So the Americans didn't bother to extradite them. And they make Section 34 to free them. Where all the voice that day, all the outside talking about call election, all it to stink. All it to stink. Or they can come to talk to people now. Kamala Persad talking about failure in the reshuffle of the government here under Prime Minister Stuart Young. How much members of parliament you reshuffle as National Security Minister? How much time you reshuffle and bring this one, that one? What are you talking about? All ever make a difference? There was a dent in crime then? Didn't you call it illegal? Them man and them who did out there today about calling election, where all the voice was today or back then, when Kamala Persad and them lock up over 8,000 African youths without a charge in the illegal SOE, fellas from around the Nelsons and all around the bridge and all Lavanton and all that. 8 or 9,000 of them without a charge, and an AG say tell the police lock them up, you go find things to charge them with after. Where all the blasted voice was, all the hush. All they can't do nothing for the society. All they want to unify is only all their own personal benefits all they're looking at, because they don't talk. When the UNC in office and dismantling everything in this country, mashing up everything in this country, all they doesn't have a voice. Just like Kojo, like a dog under Kamala and them, and they fire his ass when he was in Central Bank. Get all the pride. As men, get all the pride. Get some balls. Stand up for the right thing. Well, give me a ball, let it break, yes. So, today, as I said, Minister Stuart Young, SC, was sworn in as the 8th Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and was done using the Constitution, and we are going to have an election this year. He's going to lead the People's National Movement into battle, a battle that he's going to win. So we had some changes in his cabinet, and one of them is that, let him speak. Let the Prime Minister speak.
So
I'm not going to be commenting on the choice of Attorney General. An Attorney General has been chosen in the exercise of my discretion. I think Ms. Camille Robinson Regis is the perfect Attorney General for the current period. And as I say, we're going into a new chapter. This afternoon, as I announced, at 3 p.m., you all begin to see the furtherance and the building out of the new cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm not going to get into that. Have some patience at 3 o'clock, because between now and 3 o'clock, a lot of things will go into motion, and at 3 o'clock, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago will see this cabinet being formed.
No, it's official. You're officially Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Now tell us, how does it feel?
It's a great honor. It's an honor to be the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. This is an honor only 7 persons have had before me, and I am taking that very seriously, especially the responsibility that I know that comes along with it. And I mean, apart from being honored and a sense of great responsibility, I'm really looking forward to delivering for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in this new role and portfolio.
Unity and cohesion. The opposition leader has said that.
I don't know why this commercial is jumping the whole thing. What is wrong with it? Give me a minute. Whole commercial, there's no little thing on thing up. Yes, no. All that bear with me, don't go nowhere, bear with me. Let me see the story continue. They can't stop the truth. The truth is like water, you go find a space to run.
Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, this is an honor only 7 persons have had before me, and I am taking seriously, especially the responsibility that I know that comes along with it. And I mean, apart from being honored and a sense of great responsibility, I'm really looking forward to delivering for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in this new role and portfolio.
Unity and cohesion. The opposition leader has said that.
So at this stage, I'm not going to be commenting.
Should I just that there? Let me see if I find another clip.
So I was not shocked. I was shocked when I became aware. But I am very honored to have been given this opportunity to serve in this capacity. I will do my best as I support the Prime Minister and the cabinet that he is about to bring into place. And I will work my hardest, as I have done in so many other ministries. So I was not shocked. I was shocked.
So, Madam Camille, let's stay with me, don't mind them. They stink, they want to hear the truth. The truth is a brute, and we will always say, so this is the new cabinet now. So, Madam Camille Robinson Regis, which she whole slave master name, she would have been sworn in today. And let me look for the list of everybody. If I don't find the list, I'm just going to read what I have written down, and it will basically be the list of the changes, and everybody else would have remained the same. So let me see if I find the list here, or else I'm just going to write. I'm just going to read. Let me see. So I'm going to read the changes that they have. Otherwise, everybody else remains as is. So the new changes are, as I said, Vishnu Dan Paul is now the new Minister of Finance. MP Adrian De Leons is now the Minister of Housing. And the Minister of Housing and I think Urban, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, that is Minister Leons. We have MP Marvin Gonzalez is now the Minister of National Security. We have Madam Camille Mary Robinson Regis, she's now our AG. MP Fitzgerald Hines is Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister. MP Con Embert is now the Minister of Public Utilities. So those are the changes there. Other than that, everyone else remains as is. So the major changes is the Attorney General, because we heard the Attorney General would have been given an opportunity to head and be a judge out in one of those islands. They are part of the courts. Madam Camille Robinson, which is now our AG, our new National Security Minister, is Minister Marvin Gonzalez, who has moved from Public Utility Minister. We have Minister Comember now becoming the Minister of Public Utilities, and Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Mrs. Camille Robinson Regis, was there. So now we have MP De Leons, who was a minister in that ministry. He is now tasked with the responsibility of that ministry. And also our new finance minister, as I said, is Mr. Vishnu Dan Paul. I think he worked before in one of those ministries and he was out on, I think, a diplomatic mission or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. It's Rosemary. Oh my God, I said Mary. So let me say it again. Our new Attorney General is Madam Camille Rosemary Robinson Regis. Hope I got it right. My lady. I'm just going to read something that Minister Stuart Young Uncle would have said. He's the one a little more vocal. And he would have said, the uncle's name is Rustam Hussain. He said about his nephew, who is Prime Minister now. He's a decent guy, he's a happy person. He's always willing to assist in any way and doesn't discriminate based on race, gender, or anything like that. Stuart has the ability to lead country. He more than have it. So that was from an uncle, and we have this from Mr. Wendell Stevens, who was a counselor, PNM counselor, and always been a participant in one or two. I don't know if he's still there. I says here, by lunchtime today, Trinidad and Tobago will have a new prime minister, yet many of my friends in the UNC remain oblivious to the political avalanche about to bury them. Kamala Pasabi's sister has refused to attend Stuart Young's swearing-in, claiming she doesn't want to legitimize his leadership. But anyone who has worked with her knows she struggles to get moving before 10 a.m. Her frailty and diminishing influence are plain to see for those who are willing to acknowledge reality. Meanwhile, a youthful prime minister and a revitalized cabinet are poised to outshine Kamala and her fragile circle of loyalists in every conceivable way. The PNM is reinventing itself while the UNC teeters on the brink of irrelevance, left behind by a political machine about to shift into hyperdrive. The UNC isn't just facing another election defeat, it is facing another decade in the wilderness. And I too believe that. And I just want to show you a picture of Kamla Prasad Bisesa at a Pagua function. I don't know who will be there to get these pictures, but boy, Kamla in a mess. Let me just get it here. Let me just get it for you here. Come on, come on. Let me see what's happening. So, just. No. Okay, give me a minute. I need to get back out of this thing. Give me a minute. There's somewhere I saw she was in Pagua and Okay.
You drink night, you drink the night before. If you drink tomorrow night, you drink forevermore. So you really have to drink from on day.
All right, I'm gonna put it back. Let me see if I could get it back. They're not easy, you know. What should I?
You drink from last night, you drink the night before. If you drink tomorrow night, you drink forevermore. So you really have to drink from on day.
We had spoken about that already. Is it legal that her security detail to be used as a walking stick? Because if you are there to secure your client, the opposition, whatever it is, how effective could you be if you had to be caught up holding she to walk and all that? How could effective you? I just asking, how effective could you be as a security service person to people? So that is it. There we have a new prime minister, the honorable Prime Minister, Minister Richard Stewart Young SC, my member of Parliament for the Spin North St. Anne's West, and I am proud, I'm happy. And he would have mentioned certain things on when he spoke on Sunday. A couple of things he spoke about is the young persons, the steel ban, and also about our entertainment industry, the young people. So that is exciting. He even spoke about the fact that Hans Devines, who is not a member, going up as a candidate for the constituency that Dr. Rowley would have represented for so many years, and Whitney Husbands, who was doing the MCing. He mentioned that they started off their career when he hired them in Synergy TV. So he has been. Again, he's a treasure that has never spoken and done that we now hearing things and people are like, oh my God, we didn't know that and that kind of thing. So he has been always there treating with the young persons, receiving steel pan, always pulling the racks for St. Margaret's, donating to St. Margaret's. He donated recently to the, I think, sick fighters. Yeah, I think that he's always there with in his constituency, there are a lot of steel bands, especially renegades and all the school bands. He's always there with them, always among them, toting pan, taking off pan of the rack, and yeah. So he is a man of the people, and he always walks and speaks with his constituents. As I said before, since he became the MP, he walks his constituency 2 times every month, and sometimes if he has time more than that. So he's always in touch with people. And you heard him when he was speaking, spoke about Mackay and those areas. So he knows the areas that would need attention and that kind of thing within his constituency. So we look forward to it. And again, congratulations to you, Minister Stuart Young, now Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and he has retained Minister of Energy. Well, he is in the Ministry of Energy still as the minister. So thank you. Thank you. And thank you again, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Let me drop quickly on this girl who plays like she mad. The one who get 2,000 something votes. And some jackass saying the whole of the public service is UNC, the supporting she. And again, I point out to all the PSA members, about 14,000 anywhere around there. And if she get 2,000 something votes, it means how much thousand they vote for her. The whole of the public service are not PSA members. However, whatever PSA negotiate on behalf of its 12 or 13,000 public officers, all public officers in the public service, 80,000 of them, whatever, will also get. But they are not PSA members and they can't vote in the election. So the small fraction of 2,000 something people who he said public officers are UNC and supporting that, give me a ball-headed break. So she playing she mad. The first thing she come out to talk about is she going to fight. I put it my way, she going to fight the election. Like basically she's saying to CDP and me have to be fighting elections. So she's a political leader and she party group is now the PSA. So she's going to fight on behalf of them. She's going to fight for workers, you know. She's going to fight on seat, the PLM. And I want to tell people something. She has so much faith in the UNC. And I want to ask you all something. So UNC has really done nothing for public officers. They all get tired. When they offered the 14%, it was on the backdrop that this country was in a recession. And they didn't know how the election would have gone. But had they gone their way, you think they would have paid it? And I'll tell you why. The election of 2015, because when they had money and oil prices over $100 and something a barrel, they offered we 5%. When they had money, they offered 5%. And because a skillful Nixon calendar would have negotiated for a bargaining unit, MIC, which PSA bargains for, and got 9%. That's the only way we get 9%. But when they had money, we get 9%. But when the country had no money in a recession, she signed off on 14%. This is when the general election was in 2015. The 7th of September 2015 was the general election, right? This is when she signed with PSA for the 14%. So keep that in mind. September 2015 was the general election. This was in the Guardian. PSA rejoiced, Drew get 14% increase. And this was the 11th and the 3rd month 2015 when they signed for 14%. So the 3rd month would have been January, February, March of 2015. The election was March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 6 months. How come they didn't pay that 14% before the election? Because you would have want, you get 14%. Now, if you pay the 14%, people will say, what? That's a nice election. You know, put people in a frame of mind, whatever it is. You ain't paying that money. And they said, because you know, you don't have that kind of money to pay no 14%. And if you had gotten back into office after the 2015 election, that you wouldn't have no money to pay them based on that. So when people talking about, oh, the PSA, UNC gave me 14%, the highest ever. Yes, they did. They settled for it, but they never paid it. And they had enough opportunity to pay the 14% because that was settled since in March of 2015. The election was September the 7th, and that wasn't settled. It's when Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley came in, had to borrow money to pay the commitment that was made. So what it is, she do, and UNC do for public officers. One of the things Mr. Panda did, I understand, and I hope I'm not wrong. If I'm mistaken, well, you know, I can always retract and whatever. Take out the dress code from the public service. Well, I never wonder why public officers does dress all how, no, ain't business. They have no dress code in the public service, you know. It have no dress code in the public service. A ministry might put up a sign what not to wear, but they can't tell you what to wear. Because anytime they start to tell you what to wear, then they have to get a uniform allowance. But there used to be a dress code in the public service so that you know what you have to wear. Them stop that. Just how they close the youth camp, everything. UNC is about shutting down, closing down, no order. Bacchanal mayhem confusion. That's why Rodney Charles had to say on a UNC stage, in a UNC jersey, the only party to take us out of the morass that we're in is the People's National Movement. Because that's what the UNC has become. Bacchanal confusion, mayhem, and corruption. We see it all over. We hear about drinking and this and that and all them kind of thing. So I'm saying this again. Felicia Thomas, you're playing your mad. You're playing your mad. That public officers, the 2,000 who ever vote for you, you ain't come to thank them and say you're going to restart negotiation, whatever. You come to tell me you're going to fight an election to bring back the UNC to do what? If they offer only 14%, they offer we 40% in 2015. They ain't paid because we was in a recession. It was games. They're talking about 10%. You think they're going to give we 10% for that period we're done gone when we have 2, 3 more, 14, 15, 16 gone? You was right there, Felicia Thomas. You was right there. I tell you, you're nasty. You're dirty and stink and the same hand of salt that I use for Leroy Batiste and Watson Drew are using for you. Yes, a woman, you're getting it too because you're nasty. You're dirty. Because you was right there with Drew. When Drew he tell me that. You used to be the general secretary. He tell me that. In 2019, he tell me, he was the General Secretary, that he get an offer from the Minister of Finance. The period would have been for 2014, 15, and 16. Leroy was right there too. He was advisor, getting $16,000 a month while he was still a manager at WASA. Not working in WASA, you know, but in the PSA office. So them WASA paying them just to do PSA business. And they're not doing the work that they were hired in WASA to do. There was there, Felicia, you was there, right under, as old people say, under his crutch. He get the settlement, the percentage, and saying not opening it. You as a General Secretary, I didn't encourage him to let public officers know what was the settlement for the period 2014, 15, 16. You're coming to tell We Ting now? You're playing your mad. Yeah, you piece of nastiness, you're playing your mad. You was right there with Duke, walking up and down, campaigning with Duke, getting the PSA wrapped up into politics because Duke was a politician. He was there in Tobago, Leroy was there, the next woman was there too, with the Queen Council. He was Queen before, now he's King Council. Campaigning for Duke for the THA election. All they didn't have time with public officers. You're playing your mad, your dirtiness, your stinkness. Eh? You feel because his woman ain't gonna say that about you? You want to be leader? Well, Duke and them, he said, I used to tell them, me telling you nothing different, I used to tell them. What you doing for public officers? Nothing. You sit down there for all them years. As General Secretary and do nothing and fight a case and win a case, nothing. Only a pound that Duke crutch, as all people are saying, I figuratively speaking. Eh? What you do? Then they come under Leroy crutch, figuratively speaking, of course. As first Vice President, what you do? You do nothing, you're weak. And always the worst woman to have any power or anything. Man does play with all their head soft. What you could do for public officers? And when they had a chance again, just like a Kamala predecessor, had a beautiful opportunity in 2010 to do something different. First woman Prime Minister, first Indian Prime Minister. All them group and them come together, which you call them pop-up team now and pop-up group now. All they come together, different spectrum in society. You had a beautiful opportunity, 29 seats. You gotta change the constitution. You gotta do all kind of things, make good laws, all kind of things. Instead of that, corruption. As Makanda Laga tell me that all the thief money from the treasury as if all they right to thief. Me I say so, he say so. We hear MSJ say kleptocratic government. We hear all them things. Abdullah say that you're corrupt. Because you tell about corruption, you say nobody ain't do nothing to say corrupt. We hear that. We hear a big long watery speech. The same dirty stinking Roger now. Say how they mash up this country economically and otherwise. Now that stinkness. Now I had to call all this stink. You involved in that too. Up under Kamala and then for UNC. That when the Prime Minister asked, what is Roger's salary? I was shouting, it is alleged it's $90,000 a month. I don't know if that is true. From members' money. So Felicia Thomas going to sit down to get members $100 every month to go to fight the election, to join with UNC to fight the election to unseat the PNM. But he was right there and he didn't do nothing for public officers. You stink and dirty. Just like the one who talked about put the airport between the leg. Well, she have a big airport to put between she leg, and the airport might really fit. Stink just like she too. And just like the one who's supposed to be doctor and cost everybody, all they stink, I call all you foul, you all they stink and dirty, or they don't have no interest in the people at Trinidad and Tobago in heart. All they don't want unity. It's all about self, all they weak. So PSA, again I tell members, because especially PNM, people who are PNM, support the PNM and are members of the PSA, drop the ass out because she's not going to work on all their behalf. She's just going to work on behalf of the UNC supporters who are PSA members. I don't know how she's going to know who is UNC supporters and who is PNM supporters. I don't know if they're going to ask you to put which party you support. I don't know, because it's not a guarantee because somebody have an Indian surname that they support UNC or they support PNM or they support any party. It is not a given that somebody have an African surname that they support UNC or the PNM or anybody at all. And they say, no, given that somebody who have an Indian surname is really Indian. Because I've seen plenty of people of African descent who are Indian surname. Because they either married an Indian man or vice versa. You know, I understand anything. So how she going to know who is UNC people? So I tell her, no, that PNM, who support PNM and PSA members, drop out PSA. Because this girl who playing, she mad that stinkness, that dirtiness, she only going there for UNC members. So the UNC members and the UNC get she money to go and fight the election. She not interested in PSA. Because we paid money in PSA, $100, and not me no more. I stopped my payment. So for she to fight on behalf of workers, not to fight no election. So I want to leave her there. One hand assault for man, woman thing. You want to be in PSA? You want to get yourself involved in that? Well, you go get it too. And I say it again. And I say it again and again and again. All they go suffer spiritually for the wickedness all they're doing to workers. Well, I met in fact, I didn't know the woman, a retiree. She passed and she was watching me live and thing. Tears come to my eye. I didn't know what she didn't see. She asked me what it is going on because she retired. Retire on 2013 salary, they ain't go get nothing. And I've met plenty of those who retire from the public service. They retire on 2013 salary. Never get an increase in salary. Retire on the wrong pay scale because nothing settled. And you wouldn't settle it for them. They go cry on your girl. They go cry on you and they go suffer when the tears fall on the ground because you're doing that wickedness. You stand up there with Leroy Baptiste and Watson Solomon, you can do nothing. What miss them? What miss them? You're so stupid, they set you up. They'll tell you you're dotish. They set you up. I would never want to be president of PSA. Any condition PSA is, especially after the Baptiste and pass through, but they set you up, you're stupid. They will make you the fall guy. And people tears go fall on you for the wickedness because organization like the PSA, who are almost 90 years old, you come to further destroy it. Well, the framers and the ones who created and formed the PSA must be rolling in the grave. Them and all must be crying. Them and all tears. And them is years of old tears, ancient tears, ancestors' tears go fall on you. You go meet it for what you doing to public officers, girl. I say so. It have a God above. Most High, the Most High Almighty God. I'm talking spiritual thing here. Me ain't doing nothing. I'm a slave because me at time, a PSA member. But I'm telling you, the people who are PSA members go cry on you for the wickedness they're doing them. And that pensioner who I meet, who crying because she money small, because she ain't retired the right thing and nothing to get now, they go cry on you. They go call your name and cry. Now I tell you what Leroy and them miss you go get it because usually one day now, before they crying and say Baptiste, before that they was crying and say Duke, no, they go cry and say Thomas, they go fall on you like an avalanche and they set you up and put you there. But you like power, you like money, you like nice life and your head soft, man could chain you up, so they chain you up, you take over now. Girl, I'm sorry for you, yes? I'm really sorry for you. You better go down in sackcloth and ashes and pray for forgiveness, yes? Pray for forgiveness because the spiritual effects that will come at you in this year at the Jubilee, I'm sorry for you, girl. And I hear it is alleged you go into somewhere talking, it's alleged, go on somewhere talking to workers, but then you had to win this election. You had to win this election because you're temporary in Wassa and you have child to mind and mortgage to pay. You should shame. If you really say that, you should shame. You up on that group crutch, I say figuratively speaking, all them years and your mortgage and pay off. Your mortgage and pay off, and you still temporary. You're under Baptiste and all of them. You still temporary. When it is alleged somebody who knows somebody, ting, working in Wassa, wherever, then get permanent and put in high range, 50-something range or whatever. Who you was? Like your head runs off and should squeeze it. I hope it's not a close clip and asking a question. Because you know what I say about close clip? Means say you is one, I just asking a question. I hope you is not one. I was asking. Because what did I say about close clip? When they squeeze the head, the leg does open. I just asking a question. Are you a close clip? I just asking. So people must see all who here. Joel, Carol, Diane, Elizabeth, Constance, Rudolph, Errol, Egbert, Dion, Angela, Roxanne, Anne-Marie, Angela, Diane, Jenny, Gail, Hollister, Judy, Ricky, Merle, Herbert, Melka, Miss Melka, Glennis, Cheryl, whole friend from Pune, Cheryl, another Cheryl, Kenneth, another Cheryl, Philomene, Bolty, Lorna, Murphy, Nadia, Jennifer, Sharon, Sandra, Campbell, Taylor, whole name. Hey, we had to talk Miss Taylor because I ain't gonna tell you why. Margaret, Allison, Anthony, Hadara, Marilyn, Anton, Charles, my whole family from Pune, Emmeline, Sarah, Martha, Monica. Thank you all for always staying tuned in and locked on. And hi, Glennis and Lorna, everybody. Again, congratulations to Minister Stuart Young, who is now Prime Minister Stuart Young, who will take the PNM into the 2025 general election. To all those who have gotten new portfolio, Madam Camille Rosemary Robinson Regis, who is our new AG, our new National Security Minister, Minister Marvin Gonzalez, our new Public Utility Minister, Minister Carmen Bird, our new Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Minister De Leons, and I think, and our new Minister of Finance, Mr. Vishnu Dan Paul, and to all the other members of Parliament and senators who would have retained their positions, congratulations, good luck, and let me bring this thing home. So again, Dr. Rowley, thanks for your service to your family. Thank you for loaning him to us. I know you're all happy to get him back. And again, as I say, Alicia Thomas, them people tears go fall on you. The tears go fall on you. You go meet it. What Leroy and will Juke miss, people mouth will be on you now because you in that position and you start off bad is a real innocent truth. And asking a question. You are close pin, squeeze the hair and leg. I'm asking a question. That is a talk. That is a talk. Me and say you should ask a question, but you go meet it. You go feel it. Because what miss them, you want to put yourself in position, they will put you as a scapegoat. You're stupid. You think Leroy goes, when Leroy see thing, you think Leroy goes stand up there with you? Hey. Anyway, people love you all. See you all. Vengeance and Mocha, you're going to be on She Constance, you're correct. Vengeance and Mocha will be on this girl. She feel them thing is joke. Felicia Thomas feel them kind of talk is joke when they do wrong and they do bad. Spiritually, that's perfect. Nobody had to do you nothing, Sometimes I see people dragging in the road. Or they just leave your house and walk out and all kind of things. They wonder what. Sometimes the wickedness they do to people and people cry and go earnestly to the God and pray and call your name and pray for the wickedness they do them. And you really do them wickedness and truth. And when trouble starts to befall your ass, so you just want to know why, how, when, where. Remember where you do people. Remember all they do people. And to them again, I say last before I go, who have issues and problems with me, they have problems with all themselves. Get all themselves together because me and them in my life all it to shine. All of we strength our God and all of we have gifts. So don't watch where I have, watch what you have. And what I could do, you can't do. And what you just do, I don't want to do. What you have, I don't want. So it ain't no competition. So all who want to be in competition with me, all they have a problem. Because all they can step to me and where I'm at. Where all they is what they want to be. So don't watch me. And if all they doing a service and all they have to get on so they get somebody something, and not because all they feel all they powerful with the little service and whatever, if that makes all they happy and empower all they, I happy for you. Because some of all the house and secure. And all the house, all they don't have it locked down. The way all they just locked down when all they have a service to give to people or give somebody something. All let's watch it. Just like some in some ministry that give workers the benefits. Where them entitled to based on what would have transpired between unions and CPOs, what to put in law. So let's look as if the money coming out of them pocket. Them pocket, long. I fight and take a uniform allowance, and not for me alone, For about 8 other cooks. You know how long they put them in and run around? It gone so, it gone so. It's because they feel mean entitled to that. The workers are entitled to that. But anything them had to get. They're making sure they get it. But a little pittance are not coming from the pocket. Just like those who have a service to give something to people. The money are coming from their pocket to buy it, but they're always watching it. They're watching it. Don't get this one, get that one. And always grumping and grumping. Grump by all the blasters said, if all you're unhappy with all yourself, and all you're unhappy with all your where all they at, do something positive about it. Don't want to drum the other people. So I say all that to say I love you all. And be blessed, everybody. Thanks for the support. Mr. Alvin, I hope that's your name. Safe trip back to England. If it's not Alvin, it's the Mr. Mead by the gate. And all the other people I meet, all who always in my life. I love you all. Love you all. See you all on Wednesday. Because when I come with something fresh, something new. And it's always something new to discuss in our beautiful country, Trinidad and Tobago. Every creed and race find an equal place. And those who have a problem living here, they're free to get the money, pay the visa, and go England or whatever to Canada, or go up and meet Mr. Trump and be a part of MAGA, do whatever it is. But leave the Africans, the Indians, the Chinese, the Syrians, and all the other races who want to work together to build this country, because we must work hand in hand. Every creed and race find an equal place. Yeah? Love you all. I'm out. I'll wait till this thing from here to finish the live. So see you all on Wednesday. Gospel. Love you all. Bye.